Thank you for tuning into HardNews TV4. I'm your host, Terry Lynn, and this is the channel where truth is like archaeology, and every day we're digging for it. Today is December 31st, 2020, so it is the last day of 2020. So I'm sure y'all have noticed I haven't uploaded in a couple of days, and I'm sure the acoustics sound different in my video today. I've been gone a couple of days on the road. I had to go back to Louisiana for to see my Marine son that's getting shipped off to California for 3 years. And while I'm there, I got some bad news concerning Joshua. Well, before I get into that, let's talk about people that are two-faced and deception. Okay, the Bible says that in the last days, men will go on waxing worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. So there is deception that's going to get worse and worse. And I just did a video a couple of days about no deceit was found in Jesus' mouth, and surely he desires honesty in your innermost parts. So I want to talk to y'all about deceit that's happened to me this past week, and that's going to get worse in the future. So that is a perfect drawing of deceit right there. People being two-faced, having that fake smile on their face and being little devils behind your back. Okay, so let's get into some stuff. I'm showing y'all definitions so that y'all know where I'm going with this. Covert, not openly showing, not openly shown, engaged in or vowed. A veiled covert, okay? Covert racism, but we're going to get into some stuff. Covert definition, okay? Secret, done in secret. Let's look at the word deceive. Deceive is the action verb. Deceit is the noun. And an action or practice of deceiving someone by concealing or misrepresenting the truth. Misrepresenting the truth. And I'm going to get into what has gone on with Josh and what's going on in the news. Y'all stay with me. This is the last thing I'm going to show, and then I'm going to show y'all 3 deceitful things happening in the news, and then tell y'all what happened with Josh. This Bible verses about deceit. What does the Bible say about deceit? It is very clear in the Bible that deceit, being fake, two-faced, saying one thing, doing another, is an act that God hates. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him. And I covered this in my last video. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans. I want y'all to remember that. Feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, and one who sows discord among the brothers. In order to follow the Lord's path, deceit cannot be found in your heart and soul. Okay? It can't be in your heart or soul. Therefore, rid yourself of all malice, all deceit, hypocrisy, envy, slander of every kind. He committed no sin, and no deceit was found in his mouth. Whoever would love life and see good days must keep their tongue from evil and their lips from deceitful speech. Okay? Now, so I don't know which way I want to go. If I'm going to show y'all the deceit that's happened to Josh or the deceit that's happened in the news. I'll go with the news, and then I'm going to show y'all why I was outraged. Okay? This is from December 28th. Fauci lied. Senator rips doctor for tricking Americans on masks and vaccines and COVID. And remember, Fauci came out and said that he was being deceitful just to try to get people to comply. One of the top advisors who has been setting the agenda for Americans' fight against the virus has been accused of lying about what is needed. The reason? To trick, be deceitful Americans into doing the right thing, trying to manipulate them. The accusation comes from Senator Marco Rubio, who said, according to a report from Fox, that Fauci, the top U.S., I'm not even going to try to say that word, epidemiologist today, y'all hear my voice, my mind ain't here, epidemiologist, lied about masks in March, has been distorting the level of vaccination needed for herd immunity. It isn't just him. Many in elite bubbles believe the American public does not know what's good for them, so they need to be tricked into doing what is right. Fauci admitted to quietly shifting. Now remember that, quietly shifting. I need to remember these words. Quietly shifting, and a heart that devises wicked plans is deceit. Okay? Quietly shifting. Let's get into this. So this says, Bill Gates backed plan to dim the sun quietly moves forward. Deceiving and being deceived. Doing things in secret, quietly, covertly. And this article is from December 22nd from HardNews that was founded by Laura Ingraham. I think she sold it to a Canadian company. D.C. passes a bill to vaccinate children without parental knowledge or consent. The Minor Consent for Vaccinations Amendment Act permits children as young as 11 years old to consent to receive a vaccination. That's 5th grade. With all vaccine administrators cooperating to hide, done in deceit, the record from parents. Okay? Last month, D.C. passed a bill that allows children to be vaccinated without the knowledge or consent of their parents. The Minor Consent for Vaccinations Amendment permits a child aged 11 years old or older to consent to receive a vaccine where the vaccination is recommended by the U.S. Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. Okay, how can a child give consent to something they don't know about? Okay, that's why they're minors. Okay, so if they make that legal, then guess what? Then kids will be able to consent to sexual acts with adults. If they lower the age of consent and kids can consent to different things, then that's going to be spread wide and far. But the 3 things I want to show is that they are cooperating to hide. Cooperating to hide. And then Fauci is quietly shifting. Okay? Then Bill Gates planned to quietly move this forward. And what does that mean? Let's look at it again. The action or practice of deceiving someone by concealing or misrepresenting the truth, done in secret, putting on 2 faces, telling you you don't have nothing to worry about when they're being a snake. Now let's look at what happened to Joshua. So, day before yesterday, I drove all the way from Rome to Alexandria, Louisiana, to tell my baby boy bye because he's being sent to California for 3 years. And y'all know everything's supposed to be getting real bad in California. So I was worried about, seeing him. So no sooner I get to Alexandria, maybe 10 minutes in a visit with that son, I get a call about what has happened to Josh. Okay? So I had driven like, I don't know, about 500 something miles. Yeah, because it's 120 miles from Alexandria to Baton Rouge. So I had drove 530 miles to get to Alexandria. Had only spent about 10 minutes with that son. We were still out in his dad's front yard when I get a call from Joshua. Y'all know my autistic son that's in the hospital that I've done the videos on. I get a call from him. So you can go to my channel and type in Josh, and these are videos on Josh that's come up. Okay, so it's been a 1.5 years long fight and struggle with him through dire circumstances, all right? And I've told y'all that he got arrested for being in a meltdown out in our yard. That's the day he got arrested. Then bail was denied. While he was in jail, he was being raped um, tased, put in solitary confinement because they couldn't control him in the jail for over a month for 23 hours a day. And so Josh has been going through a lot. Well, I get a call from him while I'm in Louisiana. I get the call that from a frantic, screaming, crying Josh that they're moving him to the worst mental hospital in Georgia, where the violent criminals go, where where the real murderers and rapists and serial killers who are crazy get sent to. Okay, so he knows about the hospital, and he was crying, he was all upset, and he's telling me, Mama, they're sending me there, they're sending me there. I said, baby, I'm sure they're not sending you there, you haven't done anything criminal. And he said, Mama, that's where they're sending me, they just told me. I said, who told you and when? He said, they just told me. They just told me that the ambulance is coming to take me there to get my stuff. So then I went crazy and I started making telephone calls, and I found out it was true. And of course, nobody knew anything. And the nurse told me it was a silent discharge. And I said, and what is a silent discharge? Because in the 20 years I've been involved in mental health, I never heard that term. She said, that's when a hospital secretly um, transports your child or adult, parent to another hospital covertly, silently. And I said, and what is the reason? She said, so that there's no backlash, so it doesn't accept the client, so there's no interference. So I went off, okay? So here's my child who's already has separation anxiety because he hasn't seen me since March because of the virus, who has the social understanding of a 2-year-old, who has a 72 IQ, knows he's getting sent to where there's cannibals, rapists, murderers, and he is petrified. So when I call and ask his staff, they're like, oh, it was a silent discharge. So I blew a gasket, and everybody's wanting to be fake to me. So Josh calls me back. He's hysterical. I'm calling my ex-in-laws, my ex-husband, who has not been involved in it because I'm about to have a nervous breakdown, knowing that my son was raped in a county jail and was wondering what's going to happen to my son in a seriously bad situation. So I'm calling this public defender. I'm calling different people over mental health in Georgia. Of course, can't get in touch with half the people because it's the week in between Christmas and New Year's. Hi, you've reached so-and-so. We're not here until, January 4th or whatever. So I am freaking out. So while I'm dealing with this, I'm sure y'all saw the post that some Chris guy posted on there about criticizing me for criticizing the vaccine, and that I need to be a true social justice warrior, and I need to confront racial inequality and income inequality and uh, the global warming and all this kind of stuff. So I went off. I went off in the middle of me finding out all this about my son. This little snowflake's going to come on my channel and attack me. So I went into North Baton Rouge, Little Boosie and Kevin Gates, zip code 70805, and I said, baby, today is not the day to F with me. Basically, I'll come to your house and stomp your ass. Don't talk to me about how oppressed you are when my son is going through more than most people could even comprehend. So I went off. Couldn't delete it for a while because I was on the road, okay? But so if y'all saw it, y'all understand where it came from. Now let me show you the letter that I sent to everybody yesterday because I had to, so I left Alexandria since I just drove 530 miles and went and slept at my pastor's house because I didn't have any money, but somebody sent me some money for the drive back to get a hotel room. So I'm in a hotel room right now, and I am like at the top of, if y'all can see my cursor, Right now, I'm somewhere in between, to the left side of Jackson, to the west side of Jackson, in between Vicksburg and Jackson. So I still have to go that way back. But let me show y'all the email that I sent out to everybody. It says, Carla, that's his doctor's name. I said, I will omit the courtesy of Miss, as it is very difficult to extend respect to someone who betrayed my son, but I do have a few questions I need answered. So, before I get into that, remember the deceit picture. People acting fake nice in your face and plotting evil behind your back. And that's the mindset my letter is coming towards his doctor. Carla, I will omit the courtesy of Miss, as it is very difficult to extend respect to someone who has betrayed my son, but I do have a few questions I need answered. One, can you provide the names of all staff professionals that were involved in Joshua's, quote, team? Because I was told the team made the decision. Who made the decision that Joshua needed to be silent discharged to that hellhole facility? After Joshua being at West Central for 13 months, what caused this decision of your silent discharge? When was this request made? This decision was made weeks prior, as it would have needed to be sent for consideration and approval to do so. I am requesting the full records of request for transfer detailing the how, when, who, and why, with the dates and the names of all involved, as I was not included in this decision, nor consulted or informed. I was made aware of this mere hours before it transpired, and not by any member of his team, but by a frantic Joshua. Shame on you. This is pathetic and deceptive on your part. Behavior that mimics the deceptive behavior of Judas betraying Jesus. After your months of encouraging me to talk to Joshua, to trust y'all and help him to understand that y'all just wanted to help him. And once he was beginning to trust you, you decide to throw him to the wolves, to that other hospital, real criminals that will destroy my son, his childlikeness in him, and any hope. May God judge you harshly for your silent discharge betrayal. 5. Why was this deceptive silent discharge executed during the holiday week between Christmas and New Year's, when you fully knew that very few people that would be needed to talk to prevent this silent discharge would not be in their office or available? I despise your deception. Jesus despises deception, and will fight you and your deceptive practices covertly executed during the holidays without consulting any of Joshua's family, despite the publicly displayed notices throughout your building that family is a vital part in the patient's team. You are a heartless, deceptive individual. May God intervene on Joshua's behalf and judge you harshly for the deception you have perpetrated against my son. That aspect of this aside, I want these questions answered. So I've been dealing with that. I've been fielding calls with the people that I can get in touch with. My ex-mother-in-law's even trying to write Donald Trump. So I get a call yesterday afternoon from the new hospital. The lady butter could have melted on a cold, freezing winter day. She was being so sweet. Hi, Miss Terry. This is Mary. I just want you to know that we have Joshua. We got him here yesterday. He's doing well. All that fake stuff. But I wrote letters all over to the state, contacted the Attorney General's office in Georgia. And if anybody's in Georgia, I want y'all to know I can't say the descriptive word I want to use. I cannot stand Georgia, okay? I hate the way the political structure is in Georgia. So I had called the Attorney General's office in Georgia yesterday, and Mr. Attorney General, you are an asshole, okay? So in Louisiana, if you have a problem with the district attorney, you contact the attorney general's office, the highest attorney in the state, and you can open an investigation against that attorney general, okay? The attorney general in the county that we live in has been elected uncontested like 3 times, okay? And that person won't even see me. One time they pressed the button to have me escorted out of their office, wouldn't even look at Joshua's records. She thinks she's Queen Bee. So I called the Attorney General's office in Georgia to make a complaint, and he's going to tell me that the Attorney General's office in Georgia is structured differently than most other states, that they are basically just an executive arm of the governor's office. And we know Brian Kemp's not going to do anything. That little weasel, that little bow tie wearing yuppie frat boy. Jesus, don't get me started on him. He's spineless. Spineless Brian Kemp, who cut funding to mental health, Brian Kemp, who won't even investigate voter corruption in his own state, Brian Kemp. So I told the Attorney General. So basically, who is the oversight of y'all's district attorneys? They can do whatever they want. They go elected uncontested. They have unchallenged power. So if I have a problem with that district attorney, who do I contact? He said, well, we do have like basically a snitch line, a complaint line that you can call and leave a message for your grievances. I busted out laughing. I said, you are hysterical. You've got an uncontested woman that keeps getting reelected as the district attorney. You think she's worried about me calling a little complaint line? So basically, Georgia is Old South. And basically, whoever they want to put the screws to in Georgia, they do. So, Brian Kemp, I hate Georgia. I hate all your structure power in Georgia. And now my son, who is not a criminal, who's never owned a gun, who has not possessed a gun, who did not break into anybody's house, who did not rape, rob, or pillage, who did not trespass, who was in a meltdown in my front yard, gets arrested for a policeman trying to calm him down and him pushing the policeman, and gets tackled to the ground and has been gone from my house since July of 2019. And you're going to tell me that there's nothing I can do about it. But at the same time I'm dealing with this, I'm getting a little asshole leaving comments about I need to be worried about income inequality and the people that are being oppressed. I said, do not. The devil knew who to send to me that day to make my flesh come out, because I told somebody, I said, let that person give me an address and I'm going to chew up nails and spit out staples. I was madder than a wet hen. So that's why y'all have not heard from me in 2 days. And last week, I just happened to do a video on God, hate, and deceit, and how deceitful people are getting, and a silent discharge in deception was perpetrated against my son. After the doctors and nurses want to act fake nice to me, they go and plot behind my son's back. While that same spirit is plotting in Dr. Fauci against all of Americans. And while that same spirit that was in my son's doctors and nurses is in Dr. Fauci, that same spirit is in Bill Gates wanting to be deceptive, and is in the same spirit of people in D.C. being deceptive, coming against your own children. So I just wanted to update y'all. I'm about to get back on the road. It's New Year's Eve. I still got, I think, like 6 hours, to get back to Georgia. But I wanted to upload something to let y'all know where I'm at. I am able to get my emails if you want to email me, hardnewstv2@gmail.com. And maybe tonight I'll put up a video because there's so much news I need to get into. But a family emergency took me away from the computer. So y'all please keep me in prayers, keep Josh in prayer, and I'll update y'all when I get home. Love y'all. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.